All right, we are about to get started. And we're going to start today with looking at how to make an avatar in Ready Player Me. Can you hear me now? And how about now? You should be able to hear me. Hello? Anyone? Anyone? Is my audio coming through now? Is my audio coming through now? All right, well, let's get started. And hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully the sound quality is good. And let's get started. So, I am going to I'm going to start by adding a new avatar. So you go to Ready Player Me, readyplayer.me, and when you're at your home, you'll see any avatars you've created, and you can add an avatar or customize an avatar that you already have. So let's go to My Avatars. We're going to click on this plus sign to add a new one. As you can see, I've got a few. You'll see that they're duplicated. These are set up as Ready Player Me avatars, and then we can connect them to spatial, which is what we want to do. And for whatever reason, they need to separate them. So we're going to go to create an avatar. I'm going to go with masculine, since I want everyone to recognize me when I get there, more or less. We can start with a photograph. Let's just continue without one. And hang on 1 second. And so let's just go ahead and pick some random things so that you can see. We're going to pick a random face, and obviously if you included a good photograph, it can start you off with a more lifelike or recognizable look. But let's just assume that we don't really care about recognizable necessarily. So here's your Ready Player Me avatar. And you can begin by changing the skin tone. Find one that you like. You can zoom in and zoom out using your trackpad or your mouse, the way that you would normally zoom in and out. And in this case now we're going to specify things about the shape of our head, for example. So I think this is mostly jawline adjustments. I'm getting some messages that my audio isn't correct, so let me see what I can do. All right, let's see. Does that work? Does that work? Does that work? And now I'm going to go to eye shape. And some of these differences are very subtle. We'd need to zoom in a lot more to really see them. And some of them are a little bit more obvious, but let's just pick something that's interesting. And nose shape and lips shape, fullness, and we can go to clothing. All right, let me just check my audio. I wonder what it is that's happening here. Sorry for the technical issues. And I think my audio is a bit reverby, and I think my audio is a bit reverby, and I think my audio is a bit reverby, and I think let's see. Reverby, and let's see. Reverby and let's see. Reverby and let's see.
And then you let that, you let a geometry extrude along that spline. Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Exactly. Now, Gio, for the benefit of our audience, would you be willing to explain what a spline is? Because I'm sure everyone's heard of a line, but what is a spline?
Well, a spline is essentially, ooh, oh my God, what is that music coming from? Hold on.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
I don't hear it.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Now we can hear you, Andrew.
Yeah, so you can hear me in spatial.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, look at that one.
Yeah, here's another one that I made. This one's just weird. And the thing is, I don't...
Love that one.
Wait, where'd it go? Come back. Oh,
Someone grabbed it and made it larger. Who's holding
yeah, I'm trying to
that
make it a
one?
little bit larger so we can see a little bit closer, but yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Bring it out into the main
Also-
space. Bring it out into the center of the space, Roman, so we could see it. And I'm going to maneuver my avatar around here.
Where is the center of the space?
Like kind of like, you know, like where the bicycle is.
Okay. Right, I got it.
Hey, all.
I'm gonna try
The
to
other thing I
maneuver.
noticed is with regard to some of these importing models from a different program is it also depends your ability to interact with that model in spatial depends on how things are set in the scene of that model. For example, there are some models that I imported where if I rotated them, the rotation point was not set to the center of the object itself, but it was set somewhere outside of the object. So if you rotated it, it would like rotate all the way across the room. So same thing with scaling. Yeah.
Right. Do you remember about setting pivot points so that you set where that rotation or the origin point, sometimes they call it, but it's a pivot, and from there, you're able to do that. But I was going to say the spline is essentially a line that is in three-dimensional space, usually, and so you can draw it in an XYZ axis, and then you could take a square or you could take a circle, and then you can, sometimes you have to put it at the edge of the spline, but sometimes you could just lay it flat on one axis, and then you could let it extrude along that spline, and then that's a really useful technique for creating like sculptural elements or more organic forms like this, which is really awesome. And I was going to just point out really quickly, if you guys have seen, you could see the polygon or the triangles that make up the polygons. And so typically, like Roman was saying, you have to have a control over how many faces there are so that it doesn't become like 100,000 faces or triangles, which will then become very problematic, right? But that's how you're going to import the 3D model shapes so that you can handle them in a game engine like this, which has a very low limit on your total polygon count size, which is about 150,000. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about this spiral shape. It could have, and now I hear music. That the spiral shape might have too many polygons. I'm really not sure.
No, it doesn't. That spiral probably has, I mean, we'd start to see this get sticky, but I think it probably has about, my guess is 8,000, like 10,000 maybe. But this one that you're moving around, that one could have a little bit more. Let's see that. Make that bigger.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see, we'll put that.
Okay, you got it.
Let's see how that big that is. How did you make that? Do you remember?
I don't remember. That's the thing. Is it? I wish I could remember. And this would have been the late 90s that I was doing this.
Oh, gosh.
So I mean, I'm telling you, it was interesting. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, it was interesting finding the archive, because in some cases I'd saved some of this stuff on zip files, or zip drive.
Right. Zip drive. Yeah.
Well, in that case, you don't have them anymore.
Well,
right.
I remember a few years back, I ended up finding my zip disks, and then on eBay, I went and found like a $30 USB zip drive. And so I was able to pull off some of these, and I stuck them on a hard drive somewhere. So I went digging for them and found them, as it turns out. Thing is I can't preview them without converting them because I don't have 3D Studio Max anymore. Unless maybe there's some kind of like freeware or generic program that will allow me to preview stuff. So it was kind of a guessing game. Of course, I'd named them not usefully at all. Like this one, I think is called like Alien Pod, which I guess it's descriptive, but others were less so.
I love it, actually. It looks like a spaceship. You know what I'm going to do, you guys, as I hop in my next meeting, I'm going to get into Horizon Workspace for my meeting with everyone, and I'm going to have the screen share in that enabled, and so I'm going to keep one of my avatars in here. The VR avatar will leave, but I'm going to watch you guys and put it on the virtual screen in the conference room as we do our meeting. So we'll be able to hear you and listen to you, and then I'll move my avatar around, and I think you should probably be able to hear me, so I'll attend both meetings still, which will be funny.
So Gio, how many of you are in this space right now? I think there are 3 of you, or just 2?
We have 3 of me, and the one that is making gestures is on my phone, and then the one that has screwed up arms is in VR, and then the one that is moving around a little bit here and there is on my desktop. So I just screwed something up, darn it.
Well, that wow. Okay.
Which is kind of funny. I like how you unlock the space so everyone can actually use stuff in it, and I was afraid to do that before because I thought, oh my god, we're going to screw ourselves up in space that we set up. But everyone now has the ability to manipulate and bring in things into the space, including music and media, all sorts of things that you want to kind of mess around with. So it makes it more of an interactive space, which is fun, isn't it?
It's definitely fun. So Roman, if you've got 3DS files, I think you can open them in Blender, import them in Blender, and export them as GTLF.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, I hadn't thought that far, mostly after our conversation yesterday about finding models to import into the space. I thought, oh, hey, I've got those old 3DS Max models. Let me go dig through them. I didn't think about Blender or anything like that. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you.
I'm recording this, as I said, Andrew, so it's recording to a live stream, but it's recording internally to a hard disk, so I'll have a video of this too.
Great.
Wow, okay. We're also live streaming this on YouTube right now.
Excellent.
So which platform are you live streaming it to, Jim?
I didn't put it onto a platform. I'm just capturing it into OSP, and it's just going to go as a video. So I'll have a video for you guys.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'll be in here still. I'll just only have 2 avatars.
Okay, so we shouldn't take it personally if you ignore us when we start asking you questions?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, he's gone already. It's just us now. So who's in the room? Can we get a roll call, a head count?
You can see up top.
Yeah,
Sure. I mean,
here.
I just want.
Jeremy, you're there.
I got 2 of me.
Is everyone's voice working? Yeah, I can hear Kier. I can hear Smooth J. Justin, can we get an audio burst from you?
I just need to know that the audio is coming through on YouTube, but assuming that that's happening.
Justin, if you're talking, you're muted.
All right, well, so enough about looking at the back of my head. What I wanted to do is actually show how to make an avatar. So can I get a what if the audio is coming through on YouTube? Is that the what? Thanks, Jeremy. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to switch tabs. All of you will just see me talking to the room, but hopefully everyone who's watching will be able to see this. And so again, apologies for having this, the audio is such a mess today, but anyway, we'll move on.
So it's fine.
What's that, Ramon?
I said it's fine. No need to apologize.
Oh, I feel like I need to apologize to the world of viewers. So
we may only have 2.
Wow, that feels terrible. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit one of my previous avatars instead of creating a new one, just because this one is already set up with a photograph so that it looks sort of like me. And once you start, you get a person in an outfit, and you can make changes to things like the shape of their jawline. That would be me. Suddenly my jaw is different, and I can change the shape of my eyes. That one looks like me. And nose, make it really long. Now I'm lying, you can see, lying. And lip width and shape, fullness. When it comes to the clothes, it's kind of interesting because there are some branded outfits that are available. Seems like they keep on adding new ones, new outfits. Oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like lions. And you can change your hair.
Are there outfits offered by famous designers?
Yeah, I like that lion one.
I don't. So famous designers. I don't. No. I think sometimes they have featured designers. Famous designers. There we go. Pull and bear. And pull and bear.
I feel like we're getting feedback again.
Yeah. Whoever's watching on YouTube needs to mute the YouTube. Pull and bear.
I feel like we're getting feedback again.
Yeah. Whoever's watching on YouTube needs to.
There we go.
Hopefully that worked.
We're good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So anyway, you might recognize that from my summer outfit. But if you're feeling formal, you can wear one of these really nice tuxedos. If you're feeling like you want to be a character in a game, or a deity from some mythology, I really don't know what to make of that necessarily. Maybe that's exactly who I should be. No, that's weird. Okay. I'm not feeling in a weird mood today, so I'm just going to go with my Lions Rasta wristband. And now let's assume that I've picked everything that I want. Now it's going to create the avatar for me. And then I'm pretty sure that I can link this with my spatial account. And so, well, look at that. Looks like I needed to add it over here. There we go. I can add my Ready Player Me icon, and it will be adding it to my spatial account. And so now I should be able to select that avatar when I'm back in spatial. So I'm going to go back to spatial. Hey, it's good to see you all again. And I think, let's see. So down here, customize avatar. And it is a bit confusing because it's like, what are you doing? Are you customizing an avatar again? Let's see, I think create a Ready Player Me avatar. This is how it gets connected to your account in spatial. Talk about convoluted. It's amazing. And voila. What do you think? I save this. How do you like me now?
Wow.
How you like it now? Yeah, I think it's great.
Well, thanks.
Great outfit. Nice hat.
I mostly
Nice
like the
pants.
wristband.
The wristbands are the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna jump and clap. Excited about it.
So now for my next trick. I know that you and Gio were talking about importing models, and I wanted to share with all of you a couple of things. So I'm going to just change. Justin, you're so happy you're dancing about this. This is fantastic. So
We can't dance on the ceiling like a Lionel Richie song.
yeah, I know. There's no dancing on the ceiling in spatial. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do, but
cool.
I mean, you can just storm around the space like Jeremy does. So,
That's my style.
Are you echoing, Jeremy? I think you. Yep. Someone's got YouTube on again. So if you're wondering where you can find 3D models, there are a couple places. You could Google, free GLTF 3D models. And the reason we go with GLTF, I think I mentioned this, is because the files include a lot of things sort of zipped together, the textures, the lighting, and so forth. So TurboSquid is one of the sites that I like to use, despite the goofy name and the other weird oddities about the site that will leave you scratching your avatar's head when you see it. But anyway, it's a pretty good site, even if the site is strangely designed. Creazilla is an option. I have not downloaded anything from them before, but let's see what happens. All right, well, while it's doing that, let's see, Korean fire extinguisher model. So that's kind of cool. It's available in a native Blender format or GLTF. And we can see the different views of the model. So we can see the actual the wireframe. We can see the views from the different sides, which show us what the rendered textures look like. And so let's see. I just hate all this ad stuff. But anyway, let's see what happens. Download. Download. I'm downloading this. It's 364 megs. That's going to be too big for spatial. So I'll have to figure out something at another time with that one. So another site here that we can look at is called, let me scroll correctly, is called Sketchfab. There's some pretty remarkable art that's available on this site, and varying degrees of detail and so forth, and they do offer free downloads as well as paid downloads. So this one was kind of interesting, the Apollo 11 command module. And when you view it on this site, it goes directly to the 3D preview, and so you can move it around in 3D space. You can see how the model is going to look. You can zoom in, and in this case, this has got a pretty fantastic detailed interior. And then you can download it, and you simply find the button to download it. Wherever that button is, there we go. The link. Download 3D model. It's going to ask me to log in. I do have an account, but I really can't remember what my login is. So just imagine that I pressed download and I ended up with a file. And so on TurboSquid, I'll show you a way to search for files that you, for 3D models that you might want to use. So you can pick by categories. We're not too worried about the categories. I think what we want to make sure is that there's my fire extinguishers finally downloaded. But we could pick something like, you can search, like how about, let's see, a coffee. That's easy. We always like coffee. So it's going to find like a whole bunch of different things. So a coffee cup is probably the best choice. And so now we can look and you can select from price. And even if you select free, it's going to show you ones that you can buy as well. Pretty entertaining upsell. But in any one of these cases, we can take a look and see, like, okay, that one costs $104, but it's a whole bunch of coffee makers. Here's a pretty generic white ceramic mug. And you can sort of see that it's Blender and 3ds and DAE and FBX and something. So it's like, okay, there are lots of different formats. Let's actually filter by format. And you'll see that there's no GLTF here. But you can still filter on it if you just type GLTF. And now it's going to find us files that are the GLTF format, which means that we don't have to open them in Blender and try and repackage them and export them correctly. And so in this case, free cappuccino cup Blender and FBX, but we know that we searched to filter out to show us GLTF, so let's take a look. Click on details, and here's our option to download it, and you can see that GLTF 2.0 is one of the formats that's available. So when we click on download, we now go to a view of the web from decades past. I don't really know why. It still looks like we're back in time here, but this is awful. And so you can scroll down and see, you can see all these are the other models that I've downloaded in the past. And like the ramen cup from last time, when you click on this tiny plus button, you can see all the different formats. Let me zoom in to make it clearer for everyone, but you can see all the different formats that you can download. All of these are useful, all of these are good depending on what you're going to use them for, but in spatial, the shortest distance between a 3D model and getting it into your space is to download the GLTF, which is the simplest choice. Now if you wanted to edit this and make changes to it, then you could download the Blender file, open it in Blender, which is a free 3D design tool, which is amazing. But in this case, you just click on that and download that file. So if you're wondering where my coffee cup is, well, I downloaded that once before, and so let's scroll, free cappuccino cup. And when we click to look at the different views, there's actually GLTF zip file format, so that's cool. It's 7 megs, and you can actually upload the zip file to Spatial. You don't have to unzip it and upload the GLTF file. And so if you were to click on this, which I just did, now it's downloading, and soon enough we'll have the file local on our machine. So now when I go back to Spatial, I can click on Add Content, I can click on Upload, and in my Downloads folder, is cappuccino cup gltf.zip. And as you can see from the progress, we're uploading, it's processing, it's rendering. In this case, it'll be unzipping first, then rendering, and eventually we should have our coffee cup, free cappuccino cup. Yeah, okay. Wow, epic. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. Yeah, cool. I don't think I realized that it said cappuccino on the side. So that's kind of nice. So when you click on it and select it in Spatial, you get the chance to change things like the scale. So you can slide this slider and change the scale. You can rotate the model. So there you go, Roman. You can see that it says cappuccino on the side from your perspective. And then you can obviously change the position and so forth using these parametric sliders. If you want to move it with precision, or you can say done, but then when you click on it, you can just move it like that, free form. So there you go. Who wants a coffee? All right. Hey, Justin. I know, you look like you needed a cup of coffee.
Need a couple.
So, all right. I see that someone's moving that cup around.
I think we're fighting for control.
You know, I think it's one of those like, oh, well, if you didn't bring enough for everyone, so I'm just going to add another one. So when you click on add content, things that you've recently uploaded, placed in the space will be there for you. And so I'll just place another one. Whoa. I think I'm on the inside of a very large cup. And now it looks like there's been a flood at the dairy. Wow. All right.
Amazing.
So what else is happening, y'all?
Not much. Yeah.
I did find another way to add objects,
Oh yeah?
but it's kind of, well, yeah. You can use, if you have spatial on your phone, you can use LiDAR.
Oh wow! So you
In other words,
literally scan an object yourself?
Yeah. I did one earlier. It's kind of wonky because I think the issue is like it's almost too good. If you want to,
because there's probably too many polygons, right?
Well, no, yeah, it's the polygons, but it's the ability to only capture the thing you want. In other words, here I'll show you.
Oh, so maybe it'd be better if you could do it in a space where, like a little light box with a white backdrop or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can see this thing in front of me.
Wow.
This little cat.
Jeremy, I didn't know you had a cat.
Can you bring it closer to the middle space?
Yeah, hold on.
What is that?
So it's like a statue of a cat, but
It's a cat sculpture.
Yeah, but it was again, I couldn't capture the whole thing. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you can kind of see.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super detailed on like the face, but then the rest of it is
when
not.
you go behind it.
Right. So
yeah.
And
So it's like
did you have to move around it while you were capturing it?
Well, in this case, yeah. So the iOS application is a little wonky. I don't know if it's a glitch, but it only lets you use the rear-facing camera right now, which is the opposite of the way you would think it should work. And I don't know if that's a glitch. I don't know if it didn't give you an option to flip the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be like really good at taking a picture of your face right now.
Right.
But
I suspect that's
nothing.
probably what the original goal was. But it's kind of weird that you can't change the camera.
Yeah. And I wonder if it is some sort of iOS glitchy something. I don't know. But you could also do it for an entire room. So it has the ability to scan whatever room you're in and convert it instantly to a file. So
That's pretty amazing.
Right here.
Yeah, I'll put the link to it. Here, let me see if I can do this. Hold on.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'll try to get a screenshot.
This is interesting. That's very cool.
Yeah, I'll try to get a screenshot.
Yeah.
Someone's got double audio coming through again.
Yeah, we're getting echo again.
Someone's got double audio coming through again.
Yeah, we're getting echo again.
Yep. I think it's Care. Can we mute her? Block.
Poor Care.
Sorry, Care.
My bad.
So that's cool. That's really cool, Jeremy. And I wonder if there are maybe better LiDAR scanning apps for the phone that would help you make a better model.
Yeah, there are. Well, I think there are. I tried one, but it was like clear that the learning curve was more than something I could do in 2 minutes. So there's the link to the documentation.
Yeah, cool. That is very cool. And so if you...
But like I said, the challenge is that it is, like I said, almost too good. It tends to capture all the other things around the object. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess it depends on how easily editable it would be to delete those things.
Right. But like you said, I think there's another app that I started experimenting with. It's called ProCam. No. If you go on to the App Store and look for LiDAR scanners, there's a couple of them. Polycam, that's the one.
Cool.
And that looked like it was much more sophisticated than the one that's built into spatial, but also much more complicated.
Right. And that's the trade-off, right?
Yes, and again, I'm not clear on how you simplify objects.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess we've got something to do for next time.
You could import them into, theoretically, you could import them into Blender, and there might be some tools to do polygon reduction there.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yep.
I haven't really looked at it closely enough. If you look at that documentation in spatial, it's extremely minimal, and they're just like, yeah, here's how to bring it in, and that's it. Like, there's no editing, there's no tips, there's no pointers to anything else. So I feel like it's probably something they were like, oh, we can do this, we'll just put it in. But doesn't seem to be like priority for them necessarily.
Right. So I did want to show you all one thing. Last week, 2 weeks ago, last week, I tried to import a model of a trashed out container. And when I imported it, it had all sorts of, like, similar to this problem. It had the ground plane and it had a background, and it was just kind of weird. So I opened it in Blender and started removing different components from the model and then re-exported it. And so I'm going to show you, there it is. It just appeared. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Isn't that a nice addition? It's that shabby chic that everybody is so excited about. I don't know. Are people still excited about shabby chic?
That's the new container home you're moving into?
That's exactly right.
Wait, so what piece of furniture is this? What is this?
Well, I mean, if you were really tall, it could be a coffee table.
I think it's a shipping container here.
Well, it is a shipping container.
Can we put anything in it? Is it?
You can't get
responsive?
into it. I mean, you can walk inside it, but yeah, I suppose you could put something inside it. I don't know. So yeah, that's a model.
It would be cool if there's a section of the models that you can add that are responsive. I bet those would be paid, but that would be cool if they offered it.
Yeah, so there are types of models that are called so they have rigging, meaning that, like, so our avatars are 3D models that have rigging, and the rigging is, you can imagine, it's like the skeleton and connecting the different parts so that when you move the hand, the arm follows, sort of thing. And so
right.
There are models that have the rigging built into them, so that like in this case, the door could pivot as if it were on its hinge, and so it is a more interactive model. I think there's a.
Does that assume?
What's that?
The platform has rigging?
Well, this platform doesn't support the rigging as an object that we import. But if you have an object that has the rigging built in, then when you import it into a platform that does use rigging, like so Unity, if you were going to make a game, then you can configure it so that it's interactive in the way that you'd expect. The one thing that you can do with GLTF models is that they can have some animation built into them. and you can import an animated model into spatial, but you don't really have very much control over which of the animations it's going to play. At least I couldn't find one that you. I couldn't find a way that you could do that. I'll give you an example. So I think I have a. Do I? I don't. I have a animated model, I thought. Okay, I'm wrong. I'll do that another time. Jeremy, I think you'd brought an animated model into this space once. It's like a spaceship.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I did.
Spaceship bar or something.
Yeah, let me see if I still have it. Of course, I didn't label it or anything.
I know that.
Oh, was it the cyberpunk? Was it the cyberpunk bar? Maybe.
I don't know how many bars you've imported.
I think I've imported a lot of bars.
Well, I'm going to download the Stegosaurus that I have, that I grabbed earlier, and I can add it here. So upload. Stegosaurus. So quite often these models will have built-in animations, and I'll have a series of animations, and in this case this model includes an animation that lets it walk. I think you can have it die, which is kind of odd. And so by triggering that particular action, you could it'll do that thing. So here's a spinning Stegosaurus for you.
Oh yeah, I did have it. Here it is. I found it. Little bar. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So in this case, the model doesn't have its textures, right? So the graphic textures.
Yeah.
But it does.
But the animation is in there.
Yeah. It's. Am I controlling this or you?
I think someone else is. I'm not doing this.
I think I accidentally grabbed it, so you should have it back now.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now, there we go. Whoa.
Whoa.
That's right.
There at the big bar.
Yeah.
Oh, it's filled with whipping cream. I don't. This is like it's a strange version of a foam party.
Yeah.
It's like taking a bath in milk.
Yeah, yeah.
My favorite thing to do.
What do you use? Regular milk?
I feel sick.
Only the rarest of milks for me.
So it's not your bespoke combination of oat milk, almond milk, rice milk, milk, camel milk.
I did away with that. Mostly nowadays, oat milk is the way to go.
I think chocolate milk is better. Well, this is really nice. I do like that the bike is kind of submerged. I wonder if a bike would rest in milk.
I think the confusion, of course, is when things are clickable, and then you can't really, you know what I mean? Like everything is movable now.
Well, the whole building bar, along with the animation, the milk. Oh, okay, good. I'm out of wait. I gotta get out of that place.
Whoever is holding it could just lock it in place, and then we don't have to accidentally grab it.
Look, spinning Stegosaurus is inside the bar. Spinning in the room full of milk.
Oh, this is surreal.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
All right, I locked the room, so
Oh, so forever
Good
and
luck
ever,
getting
it's
out
going to
now.
be this milk bar.
Wow. We've really outdone ourselves. So what's this?
We should
What is
all.
that little robot that flies around?
That's the bar.
Yeah, it's
Is
That's
that
the
part of the
bar.
car?
Yes. Yeah, it's the
Oh, cool.
busboy.
Like an R2D2 type, but a floating one.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
the
And
no
this is a
empty
cue for Andrew to make
glasses.
his Star Wars, Star Trek joke.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I can't remember where I got this. I got this off of some random 3D site thing.
I think that most 3D model sites tend to be very random. I think Sketchfab is probably one of the best sort of user experiences I've found, although I think there's always room for improvement.
It's so insane.
This
So
spinning
folks
Stegosaurus is ridiculous, though.
Yeah, it is. I think I'd like to maybe take that alien pod I made 30 years ago and maybe have it spin slowly. That might be cool. Maybe that's something I can figure out how to do and import next time.
Yeah, I think if you want to animate that model, you'll need to import it into Blender and then create the animation there, or I say Blender, but into whatever 3D design tool and create the animation, and then export it as an animated. Export the animation in a GLT file. But I don't. I think if I wanted to make the Stegosaurus do its dying thing, I'd need to import that file, that animation into Blender and select that animation in particular, and then have that be a default action or something, and then we'd have a Stegosaurus that's just going through the throes of death infinitely.
That's
Which of course
morbid.
is the biggest promise of the metaverse, is to be able to see that. So, did anyone bring any new art for our art gallery that's now been taken over by this large dairy bar? Any new AI rendered art?
No.
I see you've made multiple copies
Yeah,
of
me neither.
my recent music video.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, as much of a fan
It
as
could
I
have
am.
been. It could have been anyone who was in the room before at the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
I don't think I called it.
I'm going to delete that instance. All right.
All right, folks, I'm heading offline. It's been a pleasure. Keep it
Yeah,
real.
I guess it's about that time. So thank you all for joining this well scripted, finely tuned, well produced, no detail too small to be overlooked live stream. Catch you later, Roman.
All right, peace out.
Justin, you're doing a lot of clapping.
You know, it was that good.
Absolutely. Hey Justin, I have a question for you. Which 3D
Yeah, what's
design
that?
tools have you used?
Well, kind of in Roman's way back machine, writing VML, so actual model markup language.
VML, I remember
for-
those days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I early used I forget what it is, what it's called, but there was a 3D piece to Corel Draw. It was included to do rendering.
That is the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, right. So this is like the time of like Mist coming out, you know, and kind of just rendering certain small scenes that would take days to render. But in in terms of like software packages, I have a little bit of familiarity with Cinema 4D, like more when it was first coming out.
Yep.
And a little bit of Maya.
Well, we all have a little bit of Maya experience, having taken the course that we offer.
Exactly. It's a nice touch. I mean, that was definitely like when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I haven't been in Maya forever. So, and that's like, just even a year or two out of Maya is like, I don't know how people deal with it. Panel within a panel, or box with it just is insane. So I give everybody mad props who really remember where stuff is in those kind of softwares.
I find that most of the 3D tools have so many key combinations in order to navigate and to manipulate the shapes that, like, unless you remember them, that it's a bit inscrutable. In Blender, if you click on something and think that you can just move it, it's like, oh no, you need to hold down a key and then drag it, and unless you use it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've never used. I don't think I've ever used Blender, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it just it's about time.
Yep.
With those kind of software, it's like I don't know. I think it's crazy. I mean, I definitely like seeing Roman sort of organic shapes and things like that. That's cool, but I feel like I don't know if I really want to recreate a bicycle, from real life to 3-dimensional. It's like I'll let someone else build that.
Yeah, well, that's why it's good there are all these 3D models available.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, still, the people that or folks that spend the time to model this stuff, I think it's kind of insane.
It's an obsessive amount of detail and a huge amount of effort to get it to work, to look just right.
Yeah.
But I think if you try to make even a simple object and add a texture and lighting, you can very quickly see why many models cost a lot of money. And so,
excuse me.
And it also gives you an appreciation for games that use very detailed 3D models that even have sort of like realistic damage that happens based on impacts and other things in the physics engine, collisions and overlaps and so forth.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, all right. Well, is that it for today? Jeremy's doing that's it for the day. I'm going to dance as well.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
When you say you got nothing, Jeremy, does it mean you got nothing else, and so you'd be happy to just hang around in this 3D space resizing bicycles?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh boy.
Pretty much. Yep.
Hey, Gio's back.
Gio.
It is too bad that when you join with a headset, there are multiples. It would be cool if that weren't the case.
Andrew,
Yes.
if you if you have time to stay.
Are you guys still here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't leave.
Yeah, we can't leave.
Kara, I think you muted the wrong mic.
Here, I think you muted the wrong mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Well, I had you guys on in the conference room as we were meeting, so I showed them as we were talking. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we would. Kara.
That was really weird to be driving 3 avatars around too. Really funny.
So look, I made you something.
Could you demonstrate how to change something about your avatar while it already exists?
He changed it on the fly. Like as we were talking, he kind of went in and changed his avatar.
I know. I was just wondering if you could do it again.
Come on.
To change my avatar. Kara, you are echoing.
How do you do that clapping?
Press C.
Yes. Let it.
Did Roman leave?
Yeah.
See, he told me he did 3D modeling and animation in the 90s. Do you guys know that?
He is an enigma.
I didn't know that.
That's kind of like the priesthood of 3D animation and modeling if you did that in the 90s, because in that day and age, it was very expensive to have machines for that. And that's when I first started to do 3D stuff. And we had like Silicon graphics machines that cost like $80,000. It was obscene. You know, it was really weird.
There's SGI, purple and gray machines.
Yes. Yeah. SGIs, right?
Yep.
That was right next to NASA Ames where I used to work, and so we would sneak in there to the cafeterias and check out all the fancy SGI people, Silicon graphics people, and that was really interesting. It was like when I was a kid, when I was like 20.
A friend of mine works for ABC News, and they have SGI machines for doing their 3D graphics.
Okay, we're getting it from somewhere.
What's that?
Yeah, I think it's from Kara's browser.
I'm gonna put on my headphones, see if I'm the source of feedback.
Oh, maybe it's you, Gio.
So you think it went well?
I
think that was a good experiment.
I think that there was a bit of a problem with the audio settings in the beginning, and it's always a bit of a mystery as to. Yeah, there we go. More echo.
You got more echo now?
Yeah. So someone has the YouTube browser open. I mean, the YouTube viewer open.
YouTube viewer?
Like the
I don't know.
the video stream.
Is it still streaming?
Yeah. But someone's listening to it on YouTube, and it's causing an echo back in.
Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm off of it.
So, yeah, that's. I mean, I suppose it's entirely possible to me, but I don't think it's. I don't know why that's.
Okay, I got a good record of the event. Okay, I got a good record of the event locally too. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. Thank you for that.
I have a dog. Andy. I need to take her out.
I'm going to end the stream.
No.